It's the little things that count in building this business. I don't remember the big checks. I remember getting out of debt. I truly, truly remember that. But getting out of debt came from doing the little things. I have learned many, many things over the last 18 years. And I am still learning. Thank you, Lord, for the journey, because that's the best part of this business. But it's the little things that count. Looking into somebody's eyes and saying thank you. Grabbing their shoulder when you know they're shaking before they go on stage. One more tape. One more book. Maybe even one more paragraph in a book. It's the little things that count. Don't expect things to happen overnight, because they will not. This thing is too incredibly wonderful. You know, I wish I could remember all the words that Kaya used, super duper focus, whatever. But that doesn't happen overnight. It's the little things that count. One day at a time, inch by inch. Tim and I truly did not get in this business to be rich. I just wanted to pay off Visa, MasterCard, American Express. I thought if we could just make enough money where I could run the air conditioning as low as I wanted and Tim wouldn't put it back up. That I could buy a pair of shoes without hiding them for 2 months and then bringing them out. I just needed a little bit. It's just little things that we do, one day at a time, that's going to set us free. These weekends, in the beginning, I didn't like them. I didn't relate. I didn't relate to anybody on this stage. I was a nonconformist, a rebel without a cause. I just didn't want to grow up. And I just wanted to continue to blame other people. It's just so easy to do that. If you don't like your situation, well, just blame somebody else. That's why I didn't like these weekends, because they took the blame away. We couldn't do it anymore. We had to be accountable. If we want to change something about our life, we can do it. One day at a time, inch by inch, with each other. 18 years ago, I thought dreams were connected to things. I now know the best part about this business. It's that things are connected to people. Dreams are connected to people. That's what changed my attitude. Being backstage with our friends is the most wonderful thing in the world. It is the most wonderful thing in the world. To have a team of people to encourage one another, allowing each other to be themselves. The thing is, you don't expect perfection. You don't. You just want real people up here without medals, and you just want to know that you can do it. At a function like this, someone said to me, Connie Foley, you can do this. It might not be a piece of cake, but you can do this. And that's what this weekend is all about. We're saying to you, you can do this. Know what you want. Get ready to go to work. Make a decision to learn, grow, and change. But know this. It is not a lonely journey. Sometimes when you're out in that car by yourself, you might feel lonely. And sometimes when you're getting ready to go on stage and your mouth is dry, like mine's getting right now, you might say, I don't think I can do this. But there's a team of people that say, yes, you can. That's what this is all about this weekend. The true test will come on Monday morning. And whether we're a diamond or a direct or brand new in the business, you're going to be tested. And I hope there's something from this weekend that will crawl deep inside of your heart and say, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I can do this. And yes, I know why I'm going to do this. Know your why. That is the most important part. Because I know you can. God bless. Here's Tim.
I always enjoy listening to her talk. She does such a marvelous job, even though she doesn't like it much. And I was over in Brazil a couple of months ago, standing in line waiting to get on an airport with a friend of mine named Fabio. But we were standing in line waiting to get on a plane, and you know, sometimes things in other countries aren't quite as organized as they are here, and they decided to change the departure gate for our flight. And somebody went up and whispered something to some guy in front, and this guy picked up his briefcase, and he got a little advanced information. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know they'd changed the gate, but this guy found out they'd changed the gate. So he picked up his briefcase, and he started looking for a way to get to the new gate. Now, to get to the new gate, he had to go up a set of stairs. And he was unfamiliar with the airport, and he could not find the stairs. And I was just kind of watching what he was doing. I wasn't aware of what he was doing yet and what he was looking for. But obviously, he was looking to get up. And so he couldn't find the stairs. The only visible way of getting to the next floor was an escalator that was coming down. All right? And so the escalator's coming down. And this guy was, at one time, probably in great shape. But that great shape had eroded into a little bit of physical disarray. And so, you know, he probably was carrying a few extra Snickers on the inside of his skin there. And, you know, he wasn't in real good shape. But he was a little frantic because he knew he had a tip. He was going to be first in line at the new departure gate. We didn't know what was going on, and so he knew he had to get up there before they gave the word to the rest of us. And so he's looking around, and he keeps glancing at the escalator coming down. And finally, you know, you can kind of hear what he's thinking. You know, he's, I don't know. But finally he sees no other way, and he kind of makes a decision that he's going to try to make it up the down escalator. And so he's got his briefcase, and he's kind of like, you know, here we go. And just about when he's starting out, I give Fabio a little poke in the back and say, watch this is going to be fun. And so here he goes, you know, and he starts up the escalator, and he's carrying his briefcase, you know, chugging along. And he gets about a quarter of the way up, and he's making a little bit of progress, He gets about halfway up, and the color on the back of his neck begins to change. You could see it from down where I was, you know. And you could begin to hear him breathing harder and harder and harder. And the sweat began to form on the back of his neck. And he was working harder and harder. And finally, it started getting louder and louder, the breathing. He was about 3/4 of the way up. And he couldn't go anymore. And of course, he stopped. Now, so here he comes, back down again. And then he realized what was happening about a quarter of the way down. And so he starts going again, you know. And he goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and gets right about to the same place. And now now they can probably hear him about a block down breathing, you know. And the color is a little deeper red. And finally he just gives up, sits down on the thing, and rides it back down, you know, and bloom, comes off. And but, you know, if you've been in the business long enough, everything you see in life reminds you of the business, you know. And that, you know, and this reminds me of people in the business. You know, they get excited and they put forth a whole lot of energy, and then they stop. And all the energy that they have accumulated, because they're not there yet, they expect results too soon. They want things to happen faster than is normal for them to happen. And so they get discouraged with the results that they have, and they stop just about when things are starting to kick in, and they drift back down. And then they come to something like this again. They get excited again. Their enthusiasm begins to crank up. And so eventually you've got to work your way out of this. You know, it's like if you're a swimmer. Some of you are probably swimmers in high school or college, and this is the most difficult sport that I can imagine, you know. I mean, because it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're just looking at the line. You follow the line to the wall, flip over, and then follow the line to the wall, and flip over. And they practice in the morning, you know, from 5:30 to 7. Then they go to school, and they practice at lunch. And then they practice after school and go to the wall, flip over, follow the line, go to the wall. And this is all they do. I mean, there's no diversity. It's just splash, 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 and just in the pool, of course, there isn't any tide, and you create your own velocity. But we've all been down to the ocean. We see the tide coming in and tide going out. And we were down with Steve and Annette Woods, actually up in Maine with them for a couple of days, staying at a friend's place right on the ocean there in Maine with all the lobster traps out there in the bay. And the tide actually changed the level of the water 11 feet. So every 12 hours it changed 11 feet. And you could see the tide racing out and the tide coming in. And and when you're swimming with the tide, things are looking good, I mean, you're feeling like, hey, I'm really cooking along here. Yeah, okay. If you were in the pool, that line would be going by real fast and you'd be feeling real powerful. But if you're swimming against the tide, you got a little bit different situation. And you're working real hard, and you're not getting anywhere. And you're working real hard, and you're not getting anywhere. But if you stop, the tide's going to take you into the rocks, and that's going to be painful. And so there's going to be times in the business when you work real hard and nothing happens. You think nothing's happening, but something's happening inside of you. Don't worry about it. You're getting tougher. You're getting stronger. Something's happening inside of you, but on the outside it appears as though nothing's changing. But things are changing. And so make a decision for the next 90 days that you're going to take this thing seriously. From now until free enterprise comes along, that you're going to take this thing seriously. My son came to me this summer, which is always an experience. He's 20 years old. This doesn't happen that often. He usually comes through the house, not to the house. And, and it's laundry time, And so, but he came to me and he's talked about, getting serious about golf. And I always thought he was serious about golf. He played enough to be serious, convinced me he was serious. But he shot a 68 in the tournament a couple of weeks ago, and he thought, if I could spend all my time doing this, I would really get good. And I would think it would not be of service to my son to let him think that ever in life you can be one-dimensional. Let him think that ever, for the rest of his life, there's ever going to be just one thing that he can do, and that's it. Right? Isn't that right? You get in this. This is one of the things you do in life. You're already doing a bunch of things. You're trying to be a father. You're trying to be a husband. You're trying to be a friend. You're trying to be a good employee. You're trying to be a good employer. You're trying to be a good provider for your family. You're trying to be the spiritual leader. You're trying to be you're trying to be a lot of different things already, and all of these roles require time. And maybe you're trying to be a good member of the bowling team or the softball team or the coaching staff or the volunteer coaching staff or whatever it is. But you're always going to have multiple roles in life. An Amway distributor is one of the roles that we play in life. Always. That's all. That's one of them. That's it. So it's important for my son to know you just can't concentrate on one thing. Go to school. Play golf. Expand your horizons. Play golf. I always found, and I don't know how you felt about this, Bubba, I was always more productive academically during the football season. Because I knew I had to get it done and get to bed. I knew I had to get things done. If I had more time in my hands, it just took me longer to get everything done. And so this is an element in your life. And so it's never going to be the most important thing in your life. Never going to be the most important thing in your life. It's a business. That's all it is. You've got family. You've got children. You've got parents. You've got your faith. There will be things that are more important than this, but sometimes this has to assume a priority in your distribution of time. Right? It isn't going to be the business is never going to be more important to me than my relationship with my wife, but sometimes I got to leave home to go build a business. Right? And so my allocation of time sometimes, this has to come. You got to work it in. And I found that when we got started in the business, we were much like those of you that got the pink things on. We weren't making any money. Can you relate to that? Okay, good. And so that's where we started, at zero. And we saw people that had been in the business for a long time, and they still weren't making any money. Now, we we wanted to not do that. And, so we wanted to get from zero to the money as fast as we could. And so what we did is we got busy doing the few things that you have to learn how to do. And you don't have to be great at them, you just have to do them. If you get too good at them, then people can't relate to you. Right? I don't know if you can ever be too bad. Do you think you can ever be too bad at them? Because if you're not good at them and you're communicating the message, then they think, if this guy can build a business, then I know I can build it. You're not intimidating them. You're easily duplicatable. But the point is, you have to show the plan. It's uncomfortable in the beginning. Don't try to pretend. Don't try to pretend like you make a lot of money. People are going to ask you, well, how much are you making in this? My answer before, now I don't know if I tell them or not. But now, I certainly wouldn't be embarrassed to tell them, but it's kind of an irrelevant question. It was irrelevant then, it's irrelevant now. If I make a lot of money in the business, does that mean you're going to make a lot of money in the business? If I'm not making any money in the business, does that mean you're not going to make any money in the business? But what other people have done is important. And so do as much as you can to transfer information to the people you're talking to. Let the tapes do the teaching. You be the doctor, the tapes are the medicine. Become an expert at distributing the information. But you're going to have to show the plan. You're going to have to buy things from yourself. You're going to have to promote getting people to things. Do people want to go to seminars? Absolutely not. They want the results. And so they don't want to go to the seminar. Why? It costs them money. It costs them time. That's why. So your job is what? To help them get what they want. And so why do they go to the seminar? It's going to help them get what they want faster. This is the idea. And so this is your job. If you're going to be a good servant, you have to provide them with this guidance. If you're going to be a good servant, if you're sponsoring me, and you're going to be a good servant, I would suggest that you figure out a way to give me a path to make some money now. You do not have to wait till you're a diamond to make money. You don't have to wait till you're a direct to make money. You can make money now. You can create that option when you show the plan. I'm going to show you a business, and as you're showing the business, as you show the plan, talk about something that you tried that you liked. So even if they don't get in, they can buy the product. There are going to be some people that want to help you succeed, but they don't want to get in. My insurance guy, until my daughter married an insurance guy. My insurance guy was a friend of mine that was changing careers in midlife. And so, I was his first client. He didn't know what he was doing. That didn't bother me. I was trying to help him. I needed insurance. He was selling insurance. I bought it from him. My stockbroker. I was his first client. This was another friend of mine. I wanted to help him out. There are people that like you, that would like to see good things happen to you. But we don't ever give them the opportunity to purchase something of value from us. It's not selling. It's about making money now. I want to help somebody make the money that they will be investing in their business. I see that as a responsibility that I have. And so I'm going to give them a path. If you show a water treatment system, we used to show LOC when we got started because that was the slickest trick we knew. You put black shoe polish on your hands and wiped it off. And if they wanted a bottle of LOC, we make $1.50. Well, now we show the water treatment system, and if they want that, we make $100. That's much better. It's better for us, and it's better for them. Because if they don't have our water treatment system, then they and their kids are drinking the water. And you know the line, right? You're either going to use a water treatment system or be a water treatment system.